In this live stream experiment, I'm going to do something a little bit different, which is kind of like an echo chamber experiment. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how many people kind of realize I love typography and painting, and art therapy is one of my absolute favorite things to do when I'm triggered. So these last 2 weeks have been quite interesting. It has been incredibly triggering. I will probably interrupt myself, which will make sense in a few minutes when I start this little experiment. But intro-wise, this is triggering. I do talk about, well, I'm definitely going to swear, and it's triggering. So that's another reason why I'm doing this sort of later at night, so that I can delete this video if it's too triggering. This whole entire project is is being sponsored by Poor Princess, which I created Poor Princess, and the audio that you're going to hear is going to, it's kind of, I guess it was like a practice, or take one of, I don't know. I was triggered, so I decided to read my journal and not post the audio just to practice it. And so the audio that you're going to hear is me reading that, and I'm going to set the camera up so that you can sort of see all of the branding and things that I created for Poor Princess, which is a eco-chic, sustainable re-pour candle sort of concept that is also another part of my self-care regime. So without further ado, I will try and get this sort of set up, and just give me 1 second. Okay. So I'm actually recording the audio that you hear through the live stream, which, hold on, let me fix this. That's so annoying. Okay, that's a little bit better. Then I have to see the table. I'll tell you about the box in a little bit. Okay, that looks better. So the audio, like I said, which I've actually told my therapist this before, I started doing this thing where if I get triggered, I don't know, I program myself to hit record. So I have hours and hours of audio that I've never listened to of me in a triggered state of mind. So this, what you're going to actually hear next, is going to be played out of this little speaker. And yeah, so I will intermittently interrupt myself, and I have no idea how the sound quality is, but like I said, this is live stream number 5, part 1 of, I don't know, the echo chamber of my brain. So yeah, here we go. Okay, so I am going to test a theory, see if this will work. The idea is to do a live voiceover, and this is the take one of that. I think I need to start this off with what Poor Princess is, because Poor Princess sponsors this whole entire thing. So a little story about that is, there lived this lonely little princess in a building by the park, and a pandemic happened, and then there was no money, there was no jobs, and she lost everything, and she thought her lights were going to turn out or get cut off. So she learned how to make candles, and that's a totally made up little ridiculous fairy tale. But anyway, what Poor Princess is a custom candle repour service, and they are all natural soy wax in recycled, eco-chic, sustainable scents. They're all in recycled vessels, and they're all made with love. So I'm probably gonna use this time to interrupt myself and talk over myself, because I thought that might be a really funny sort of echo chamber thing to go through. So, I'm going to be getting all of this stuff ready to sort of scan. So yeah, anyway, Poor Princess, I will interrupt this program to talk more about that later, to overdub some of the names that I read through, and then I'm going to post the audio recording and transcribe it, because I have posted everything on that Substack thread. I posted a link, but I haven't really promoted it. Anyway, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has been watching and listening or downloading it. I don't know who you are, but I appreciate it. And now I am going to set up my camera and do a top, like as above point of view, so you can see the table. And what I'm going to do on the table is I am going to paint my nails, start organizing and archiving all of the branding for Poor Princess. And as I am going through it, I will interrupt this program. It's ridiculous. Anyway, the last 2 weeks I have been just making art. I got a migraine. I was late to work, which was not a really good first step to go on, but that migraine is actually connected to the past life that haunts me. Sort of anniversary time period when I had had enough. And so during this period of time, this was like the hardest time to get out of this thing with him. So I am going to practice reading this quickly, and then I will live stream myself reacting to myself and talking over myself and stuff. But I have made a lot of art, and Poor Princess is something that I think is sustainable and fun, and it's kind of like, think of your friendly billionaire row, poor princess, but she's like the milkman for candles. So you get custom candles delivered to your door 24/7. And on that scent note, there's more to it. I will explain later when I interrupted myself. So I am going to go to the last time I did a podcast. Well, I don't know. The last time I did a live stream of me documenting myself for my future self about my past self. Life is just an echo chamber. That's why it's nice to stay present, and that's why Poor Princess was invented. Well, candles were, nobody knows who candles were invented by, but maybe that Chandler is like in my DNA or something like that. They're so fun to make. So I'll get back to that later. Anyway, I'm going to skip. So I started where I left off last time was October, it was November of 2000 and, well, I put these nice little tabs on here and I'm looking at it and not reading it. So I left off at the very beginning of winter in 2003 to 2004. So there is a New Year's Eve in there that I'll talk about later, which maybe I'll ask Jacqueline if she wants to talk about it with me, see if she remembers anything, or Jordan. Which also reminds me of another weird ass synchronicity that happened today. And I may or may not interrupt myself and talk about that, but the end where I'm skipping to is kind of the past. I'm going to skip ahead to summer of 2004. And so this is in June, and this is when I was now getting done with graduating and finishing out photography school. A lot of events happened in the middle of that, and I will clearly get to them, but I feel like coming to this point is going to sort of bridge and foreshadow some really fun and interesting relationships that I've encountered over the years since the trauma happened, or the years of trauma ended, and the kind of spiral into how I wrote, what I wrote about in these diaries, which most of this stuff is the first time I've actually, I mean, unless I read it out loud to like a very few select people, this is, I think I read Carrie this part of this section.
I read Carrie part of the section.
But unless I read it out loud to a very, very small audience, like me, and maybe some lover that wasn't listening to me, or I don't know. Anyway, there is this interesting period of my life where I didn't know that this trauma affected me, and the reason why I call it the past life that haunts me is because it's kind of a past life that I just sliced out of my life. And that girl, and I know that I've said this before, I've heard myself say this on recordings. I know I said it to my mom. Maybe I'll find the audio clip of that. That was at the height of after therapy, and for the last few years, the recovery process, you know, confronting all of these things has been quite the journey. That's why I started clairvoyage, to going all the way back to generational trauma. But this period of the diary is when I got my independence back, when I was free. So on that note, I will start reading. It's amazing how much happens in a small period of time. I've been so busy that there's no time to write. Things are finally starting to slow down now. I graduated and school's over. I have no idea what I'm going to do. It's so confusing, and I don't know where to begin trying to figure it out. I have no idea what I'm doing with Derek. Where does our relationship stand? My opinion is that we are, quote, coexisting. And I'm passing time until something better comes along. Question. What a weird. My opinion is that we are coexisting, and I'm passing time until something better comes along. How do I read that as a question? It must be. No, it had to be rhetorical. What's the something, and how the fuck do I find it? The biggest lesson I've learned is that I don't want to spend the rest of my life with Derek. Yeah, I'll just make a noise there. That's the conclusion I get from fantasizing about another. I don't love him the way I used to. My problem right now is that I don't have anywhere to go, and I don't know how to find the place where I belong. What am I looking for, and what will it take for me to find my place? I took my ring off a while ago, and I haven't missed it. I think I'm on the right track to something. I'm going to NYC with actually, I wonder if Karen would want to talk. I'm going to NYC with Karen next weekend, and she was there. She was there with me when all of this happened. I'm going to NYC with my friend from school next weekend, and if all works out, I will be there with Jane Doe and John. Jane and John? Let's do Jane and Don. Jane Doe and John Doe. Let's just, yeah, that works. And I wonder if I could call him, well, I guess I can't call, I guess I still have to call him and him. What's wrong with me? Why do I have such an intense crush on John Doe still? The abuser went to see his new dad, and he's gone until Monday afternoon. He flies to Atlanta on flight 252.
Left him.
Blah, blah, blah. He flies to Atlanta on flight 255. Okay, so flight 255, side note, is my first trauma.
Oh.
My aunt and uncle died in a plane crash when I was 6.
I'm going to get into this.
Cue
way
me
more
finding
later,
the photo
so I
of
feel like I
me
can
in my
talk
archive
about it.
when I was 6, or maybe a photo of me and Aunt Lisa. I don't know. So yeah, okay. So this number. Speaking of the synchronicity that I mentioned a little while ago, today. So he flies to Atlanta on flight 255. Also, that first little promo video I did, I'll post it
This is my dad.
It's me in the hotel room talking about the Phoenix Hotel and synchronicities and how there must be something going on in the world. When I was in DC during the pandemic. Anyway, so someone who works probably on the same block or lives on the same block where my new job is, their license plate just happens to match that number. Someone got a package today, and it was a ornament, a dragonfly, which
That's how old I was that day.
reminded me of my cousin David, and I'm just going to leave that there for a second. But anyway, this is synchronicities that are all connected. Never mind. I don't know how I'm going to say that, actually, this story yet. I'll get back there. But this is, it's interesting that I actually wrote this down because it's true. It does. I don't know if it's just ingrained in my brain, like it's, branded there or something. Branded like Poor Princess, the brand that I'm working on right now with candle burning, hopefully. This is what my brain sounds like. Okay, so back to this. So he applies to Atlanta on flight 255, and that number's my hashtags been following me around lately like crazy. In order to. Usually it's 8/16, which is the day that plane crashed. I see more, but I like to believe that my aunt is up there looking out for me, and not that something bad can happen. I'm going out tonight with this fucking douchebag. This douchebag, and I will be on my most precautionary alertness. I think I finally figured out my plan, or maybe I should say goal. I'm so excited and I want it to all go smoothly. It doesn't include the abuser and should be in effect by September. I have a direct connection into the HR department at, I'm going to bleep this out, huge company. Opportunities. I'm still going to do my photography, and my portfolio is also waiting until the right timing, which a portfolio ended up being Nicole Show. And then that kind of merged into XO Nico, and so now it's kind of merged into XO Nicole Show. And it's still not been the right timing. But this is a start. This is all part of my portfolio. All of these, all of this merch. This is actually merch. So there's a concept behind all of this branding stuff. Okay. I'm still going to I decided that I want to eventually be and work my way up the corporate ladder to the ultimate position on the creative side of media. This is so funny. The art director, imagine the creative control I could have and the people I would spend my little time with. Okay, so a few days later, it's still in June. First time writing with a different color. A nice change, kind of like my hair. It's been an eventful couple of days. I realize that I'm the quote-unquote new girl, and everyone in this new crowd is curious. I hung out with an actress who is most likely a new connection in New York. And then we met up with my friend, I don't know, M, who's good friends with this other guy's friend and his best friend, and then she showed up and was and was shocked.
Okay, so a poor
In my
princess
opinion,
is buy,
shocked to see
burn,
me
and
there.
return.
To
So
see me and her friends.
what happens
who she's connected
is you
to. She
pay
knows
per ounce
that
for the wax. And what I
a
do
friend who went to
is
school with
I
her,
take the
also went to school with me. I'm
old
paraphrasing this.
vessels,
How am I going to do this?
like this recycled
Anyway, Karen was there. She
fancy
kind of plays
yogurt.
She plays quite the role,
Which actually, I will say,
she was there.
One of my
She was there
the way
leading
that
up
it
to a
burns
lot of this.
is in this terracotta glaze
So
yogurt.
yeah.
So if you like this yogurt,
Your
please,
message,
please,
Karen.
please save these vessels because poor princess with the
She knows that her and I are close, but I don't think
concepts,
the others realize.
which
I've been
also
around the
includes
last 2 years, but I
matches.
haven't been around them.
um,
I think a lot more people have heard
you'll get
of me before we met for the first time. Supposedly, so and so's girlfriend, and so another couple. His girlfriend said I was all over their boyfriends, and they were uncomfortable. And I asked the boyfriends, and he said no. So I don't know who's gaslighting who. This is it. There was some party that we all ended up converging at, and like I remember sitting on a bar stool. I know there are pictures of me, and I remember. I mean, yeah, sure. I was probably like, fuck it all, and I probably gave off pretty. I don't know. No, I don't care. This is like we're like 23. But this is why I have to shield the names in this.
I don't think I have to shield the names.
And I am
so anxious about that
possibly going to cut it off. You know what? I don't really give a fuck. Nobody was married. We were all fucking in college, and I don't even care. So, you know who you are if you're listening, which I don't think you are, because I really don't think that anybody gave a flying fuck about anybody else except for themselves back in that time period, including myself. But you'll see as time goes on, I do actually care. I did care a lot about the people. I also had this vigilante thing where I thought that every nice, charming, charismatic, cool person who's flirting with me, they actually were just wearing an abuser mask, and I maybe subconsciously or inadvertently destroyed a couple of relationships because I was operating in that state of mind. Or maybe they were abusers. Maybe my intuition was on. Sacrificing the relationship was good in a way. But there are some relationships too that carry on beyond that because there's something deeper. I had just got another relationship where I was going to literally die if I was in a dark room printing with somebody of a opposite sex of me. So jealous, so mean. Okay, so I really don't care if this. I'm still friends with all of them. I don't think anybody will give a shit. Nothing even happened. Like, there's nothing to even be ashamed about. What the hell am I talking about? So I asked one of the boyfriends, and he said, no. I'm going to meet up with him in a little bit, which is something that would in no way happen with the abuser around. He did come on to me once, asked me if he could kiss me, and I said, no way, are you crazy? He's like,
that's another vigilante thing.
I don't remember who this person is, but I'm not going to say his name anyway. He's like another John Doe to me, just a friend that happens to be a guy.
Lead
But
people on.
I some way feel comfortable around them. Almost powerful. I do have to admit that the feeling of power is a damn good feeling. That, side note, is going to connect to
EMDR.
therapy, my EMDR sessions. So I'll post the links to, maybe I'll just pull the audio out and do the podcast version of it on Substack. I don't know. I have to think about that. I do have to admit, too, that the feeling of power is a damn good feeling. Grandma just called, and I just told her I don't miss Derek. Grandma just called, and it's hard. Okay, so my abuser's name is Derek. Miss Derek. It's funny when you look at it like that. Miss Derek.
Miss Derek.
It's true. I don't. Oh well.
Well.
Okay, so a few days later,
Cocksucker is.
I wanted to attach my horoscope to this page, but I forgot the metro. There's probably one around here somewhere. So my satisfaction of the situation surprised me. Strange that I care so much. I was not at all expecting an email back. I made the next mistake and texted him back, but he's probably not going to call me while he's in town. But God, do I want him. It's not fair. But nor should I care. A creepy drawing of a house. It was the weirdest, emptiest looking house, just like the one way out in Leonard, Michigan, that we used to go to when we were all fucked up. The yard was empty and sparse. There was nothing going on inside or around. That freaky house out in Leonard was what this house looked like when it was lived in before the woods took it over and the trees grew into windows. Dark and creepy, like where bad things happened. I have to get off my ass and make something happen rather than wait for it. Yesterday was rather eventful, actually. This past weekend was nuts. I made it that way. Someone told me I was crazy today, and I told Karen I was depressed. He did it again yesterday. My abuser did it again yesterday and fucked with me all day. I have nowhere to go, so I go home, and that's where he is. My reality here bites, and all we do is fight. We'll bicker back and forth always about the same fucking subject, us.
It's like a candle
Why
cycle.
can't he just
like
accept the fact that it's over and I don't have it, and nor do I even want to try to get it back with him? I'm so done with him. And I will not let him suck me back in. No way will he. And I will not let him suck me back in. No way will I be with someone who is so nuts. I don't get it. Anal. Why is he obsessed? Why is he so obsessed about everything? I'm done talking shit. I'm not as fucked up as he makes me think I am. It takes a lot to get mad. And I know that most people who know me like me. I don't know if that's actually true. I hope it is. I don't really. I mean, I guess I really don't give a fuck if you don't like me, but I love you. Even if I don't like you. Or, yeah, I still definitely love you. Maybe I don't like something about you. Or maybe I don't like something that happened between us. But for the most part, I mean, I guess if I met me, I think I'd like me. Is that narcissism? I don't think so. We can talk about narcissism and
abusive relationship.
Self-confidence and
almost like it.
Shameless self-promotion, like poor princess here. Another time.
It almost implodes on you.
Oh my God.
You to start to sort of gaslight yourself.
I hope nobody is listening to this.
And
okay, so I don't get it. Anal, why is he so obsessed about everything? I'm done talking shit. I'm not as fucked up as he makes me think I am.
I'm not as fucked
It takes
up as
a
he
lot
makes me think I am.
To make me mad, and I know that most people who know me like me. Yeah, it's not as in depth as my abuser and me, but still, I told him that it's obvious that I'm building a support system around me and I'm ready, just like I was months ago on D-Day. Oh wow, that's a fucked up one. On D-Day, I remember that day. To go my separate way. I'm sorry, but my future doesn't include you because I won't make up. Oh. I'm sorry, but my future doesn't include you because I won't make up, as in make up with you. Okay, so this takes me to July, so I am going to stop there for right now, and I don't know, probably listen to this and critique myself. So, ta-ta.
Okay, so that's the end of that was actually take 2. The next one, and I'm tempted to continue this live stream just because I still have a whole bunch of collaging to do. But this recording is actually a lot softer. I don't know, the audio is going to be a lot lower. So maybe I should just continue going to see the difference in the audio range, since I no, that was the wrong one. Sorry. Okay. This is the echo chamber voiceover experiment. This is episode 2. To get a little bit of the background of it. So the idea is to use this audio and play it as if it was a voiceover while I am live streaming some shameless self-promotion for a little brand of custom candles by Princess. And this is all the stuff that I have literally hand drawn, and there's going to be a lot of other stuff that I've collected over the years. So I'm going to be sort of prepping this stuff to scan or photograph. The algorithms in digital photography now, they don't capture cursive, which I find interesting. So maybe the stuff that I photograph is written in cursive will kind of work like digital invisible ink one day. But the cool thing about that algorithm is that when I go in and this works with video and with photo. So when I go into Google Photos, or I mean, iOS is getting a little bit better, but if I search the word pour, every single one of these pores that I painted will come up. So it's going to look like I'm a total maniac, a perfectionist who's drawing this over and over again. But like I said, using typography and painting has been one of my sort of go-to coping skills when I do get triggered. And the reason for that is because of the line, and I can sort of get a grasp or control of the hypervigilance sort of body symptoms that happen when I am triggered, which is like sometimes my hands are shaking, like shaking. So doing really detailed sort of art and letters and lines and things like that really helps me sort of ground myself and gauge, I guess, where I am in the whole learning to surf my abyss of somatic symptoms that come up when I am triggered. So yeah, this is one of those types of mindfulness that I do when lettering, drawing, and painting, and creating. So using my hands, writing, which is a big reason why I have these journals that are left over. And now in this digital age, where everything is turning to electronic, it kind of can, I guess in a way. So the idea for Poor Princess is reusing all of the art supplies and everything that I currently have, that I have collected over the years, paintbrushes, the markers, the pens, the pencils, nail polish sometimes, doesn't matter. So I would rather have like a flyer and an order form instead of a QR code, but I'm still gonna, integrate the digital sort of marketing with it. But if you want to order Poor Princess, if you want to find out the prices, if you want to chat with me about what the concept is, you can call my business phone number, which is 646-509-7334. And right now there is a BOGO going on, so you can buy one and get one for your bestie. Each of that sort of product tier is, each of that product tier, like a tier of the cake or a tiara, includes your 2 cents curated to your aromatic decor. So, and then the monthly subscription, you can mix and match. So you can get 1 cent in X amount of ounces for your office. One portion can be set aside for your bathroom and your self-care, and the other one can be set aside for your boudoir, or you can have a different set, your kitchen, your whatever, it doesn't matter. So just call me. It's one of those custom projects. So as I said, I love all of these people. I'm not ashamed. I'm not sure what word. Okay, that I'm not ashamed. That was marbles, which marbles is a whole other philosophy, I guess. Marbles is, this is marbles. I'm in marbles right now, so it's cool to finally, it happens quite a bit in the recordings that I listen to, but which I should start sharing and listen to them like this, maybe. So this is one that I should have. This is the worst trigger warning. Like I said, this is the echo chamber experiment, so I am actually not sure of the audio in any way, shape, or form. And I'm literally learning how to document. Well, I'm documenting how to document documentary process and the archival process, because most people don't really know what it kind of takes when it comes to branding or art or being poor. So please, 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 if you love candles, call me. This is another
really, really good example of marbles in my little intermittent interruptions of the diary that I'm supposed to be reading. And after this is over, I have to go to sleep because I have to go to work tomorrow and deal with gaslighting, because these people, seriously, she texted me at like after 11, asking me about confirmation calls, expecting me to remember which person I called for confirmation. And I'm like, it's not my responsibility. It's my responsibility to call a customer to remind them to come back, to come for their appointment, but it's not my responsibility to make sure that client comes. It's the responsibility of the client to make sure that they show up for their appointment. It's just that I'm like, I respectfully disagree with what you said. And then her response was, I'm not going to argue with you. And then the other satisfaction I got when I was there was an attempted triangulation, if you will. I had sent 2 messages stating that a particular person was going to be late because of X, Y, and Z, and is that okay? And then they called, and there was another delay, and there was cancellations, and all of this stuff. And ultimately, they didn't end up showing up, so I asked about the cancellation policy, and it was responded with, hold on, earlier today, you were supposed, I'll retell this Dr. Bob story later, but earlier it was, she was only going to be a couple of minutes late, and now all of a sudden it's an hour and a half. Like, you didn't say that in the text message. I said it twice. I knew I said it twice, and I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure I said it. Anyway, this is the Polaroid. This thing's pretty cool, and I seriously need to get some Polaroid film. So if anybody wants to buy some Poor Princess, I'll be able to afford the Polaroid film, because I'm not sure if these people at this new position are paying me enough to gaslight me. I'll just put it like that. When I start today, I'm going to record everything. I feel like the question is, what's the next step? I think I'm going to get to film the next camera. I think the next one is too. I haven't done that in a while. Do you think I'm subconscious? Do you think I'm subconsciously trying to focus on something? I do. Have I stopped the challenge? No. I think I'm on the right track, but I'm very aware of the things I know I shouldn't do. I just want to have a little bit of fun. I just have things in my head that be in such a way last year. I'm going to keep testing out and trying to know how to do it. There's only like 6 17 minutes left. So then I can go to sleep. Or try to. Sleeping with PTSD sucks. Or just me sitting at my table all by myself. This is my reality. Candles and writing the same word over and over and over again because I'm shaking because of being triggered. Like this one. So for instance, I was talking about shaking, like S's, you can tell that was like a hand jerk, you know. It's really subtle, and yeah, sure, like it looks good, it's straight, it's in line, but the weird thing is that I can tell it's like I was painting on a boat.
Well, okay. Speaking of echo chamber, the beginning will also be in question. So 10 days later, in July, where do I begin?
I wonder. So like I said, this is the echo chamber. I apologize about the sound. I'm not sure if this is going to work. I'm not sure if I'm even going to post this video.
I didn't want to go that far at all. I never gone that far. I was in a hospital. I didn't leave if I had observations. I was wearing a case and I didn't care. None of it. I was on the food, nothing out. Just like, and then my clothes are like that.
Oh. This is the picture that I took when I got the film for the Polaroid.
Together. I want to know because well, I'm glad that I'm not sure if I want to know when I believe in this number on the stuff. And I believe this is the idea. Welcome to the wonderful world. I want to get caught from like something shed.
I think that drug me that night. So the other thing about Poor Princess is I'm going to put that box that I was painting earlier is going to have some of this collage type stuff on it. Other parts of these maybe will be bookmarks or they'll be licensed or something. But the concept is to sort of document this whole entire process around the creation of a brand. And so Poor Princess is not just a brand, it is a lifestyle. So poor me. I know it's a little bit sarcastic and a little bit haughty and things like that, but with such a with trauma, it's not even, like, trauma sucks. Like, talking about domestic or DV or IPV or Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, or, you know, geez, the next stuff that's coming up with, like, Manson and Evan Rachel Wood. Like, there's, like, no matter what the trauma is trauma. So I don't want myself to be defined by this one particular relationship that I was in that traumatized me. For the most part, I like to have a lot of fun. I like to smile. I like to make people laugh. I hold the door open for people. I do my best to, you know, not take my anger out on other people. And I know that I have done that in the past before I realized or was mindful of the things that were happening in my subconscious that were being projected on to strangers or lovers or family or friends, regardless of whether or not they knew it or not. And this manifestation of these behavioral patterns that I am still working on overcoming or recognizing, being able to go back into this stuff is one thing, but I need something to balance it with the present. And so that's why I created Poor Princess, sort of the art department behind all of this. And when it comes to my portfolio, the thing that I was working on, it did evolve after this. I ended up moving on and getting like some amazing experiences photographing some amazing subjects over the years, getting published internationally in magazines, not being able to pay for the magazine that I was published in because I was a starving artist. Like, there's been a lot that has happened, and so I am very proud of myself. So I don't want to be defined by this diary. And if this audio, like, seriously super sucks, I'll do another voiceover recording I'll play with it. I'll just turn it up in Audition and post that, because I don't really know what else I'm doing. And until somebody says, hey, I want to produce this project, then I can boss people around and tell them, like, my vision. But I'm not sure really what my vision actually is. So. I just know that I like to be present, and that's what Poor Princess is. So I'm using Poor Princess to balance this past life and the archival process of it to get through it with Poor Princess. So it is, I guess, in a sense, generational trauma, considering the hierarchy of the crown. And happy Jubilee, everybody. I sent, I kind of want to call her Pride. I sent Pride a message, but she never answered me. She probably thinks I'm fucking insane. Which I don't blame her, because when she knew me, I was directly in the aftermath of that. And on that note, and this is the end of this special 2-part live stream of sponsored by Poor Princess. Again, you can call my cell phone, which is 646-509-7334. I will get you a order form delivered to your doorman or by hand, or you can come and stop by the Little Crown, aka the Coronet Building, and we can figure out your aromatic decor. So, okay, let's see if this live stream stays up, and let's see if this little clicker works. Until next time. Nope, it doesn't work.